Today is March 11th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It's a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today we're going to be reading out of the Big Book, Our Southern Friend. We're going to continue that story, pages 210 and 211. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to read a little bit more about Step 9 and finish off the page of 83 today. So with all that, my friends, hope you're doing well this morning. I sure am with my giant cup of coffee here, so life is good. Let's get to the good stuff. So if you recall out of the Big Book yesterday, we learned a little bit more about our Southern friend here, and when he finally finds alcohol, which, by the way, he didn't sound like he had a rough childhood at all based on what he describes. So this is another one. Actually, I think the majority of the pioneers of AA so far haven't really had a rough childhood. It's just one of those things. They discover alcohol, and so far things are going pretty well for him. It says right here, "A mellow glow stole over me. This wasn't so bad after all. Sure, I'd have another." The glow increased. Other boys came in. My tongue loosened. Everybody laughed loudly. So this is how it starts. Poor guy did get drunk on the first day. I can relate to that. But so far, his life doesn't seem unmanageable yet. So we're going to continue on page 210 and read 210 and 211 today. Final exams of my senior year and I may somehow graduate. I would have never tried, but mother counts on it so. A case of measles saved me from being kicked out during my sophomore year. But the end's in sight. My last exam and an easy one. I gazed at the board with its questions. Can't remember the answer to the first. I'll try the second. No soap there. I don't seem to remember anything. I concentrate on one of the questions. I don't seem to be able to keep my mind on what I'm doing. I get uneasy. If I don't get started soon, I don't have time to finish. No use, I can't think. I leave the room, which the honor system allows. I go to my room. I pour out half a tumbler of grain alcohol and fill with ginger ale. Now back to the exam. My pen moves rapidly. I know enough of the answers to get by. Good old John Barleycorn. He can be depended on. What a wonderful power he has over the mind. He's given me my diploma. Underweight. How I hate that word. 3 attempts to enlist in the service and 3 failures because of being skinny. True, I have recently recovered from pneumonia and have an alibi, but my friends are in the war or going, and I am not. I visit a friend who's awaiting orders. The atmosphere of eat, drink, and be merry prevails and I absorb it. I drink a lot every night. I can hold a lot now, more than the others. I am examined for the draft and pass the physical test. I am to go to camp on November 13th. The armistice is signed on the 11th and the draft is called off. Never mind the service. Never in the service. The war leaves me with a pair of blankets, a toilet kit, a sweater knit by my sister, and a still greater sense of inferiority. It is 10 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm working hard on the books of a subsidiary company of a large corporation. I have had experience in selling, in collecting, and in accounting, and I am on my way up the ladder. Then the crack up. Cotton struck the skids and collections went cold. A $23 million surplus wiped out. Offices closed up and workers discharged. I and the books of my division have been transferred to the head office. I have no assistants, and I am working nights, Saturdays, and Sundays. My salary's been cut. My wife and new baby are fortunately staying with relatives. I feel exhausted. The doctor has told me that if I don't give up inside work, I'll have tuberculosis. But what am I to do? I have a family to support and have no time to be looking for another job. I reach for the bottle that I just got from George, the elevator boy. I'm a traveling salesman. The day is over and the business has not been so good. I'll go to bed. I wish I was home with the family and not in this dingy hotel. Well, look who's here. Good old Charlie. It's great to see him. How's the boy? A drink? You bet your life. We buy a gallon of corn because it is so cheap. Yet I am fairly steady when I go to bed. Morning comes. I feel horrible. A little drink will put me on my feet, but it takes others to keep me there. I become a teacher in a boys' school. I'm happy in my work. I like the boys and we have lots of fun, in class and out. All right, my friends, that's all we have for today in the Big Book. Definitely want to come back to a few things that are mentioned here real quick. All right, now out of the 12 and 12, we have just begun step 9 yesterday, which is made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. We are going to finish off the first page of the chapter, leading into the second page, page 83, last paragraph. Most of us begin making certain kinds of direct amends from the day we join Alcoholics Anonymous. The moment we tell our families that we are really going to try the program, the process has begun. In this area, there are seldom any questions of timing or caution. We want to come in the door shouting the good news. After coming from our first meeting, or perhaps after we have finished reading the book Alcoholics Anonymous, we usually want to sit down with some member of the family and readily admit the damage we have done by our drinking. Almost always we want to go further and admit other defects that have made us hard to live with. This will be a very different occasion, and in sharp contrast with those hangover mornings when we alternated between reviling ourselves and blaming the family and everyone else for our troubles. At this first sitting, it is necessary only that we make a general admission of our defects. It may be unwise at this stage to rehash certain harrowing episodes. Good judgment will suggest that we ought to take our time. While we may be quite willing to reveal the very worst, we must be sure to remember that we cannot buy our own peace of mind at the expense of others. Oh, absolutely. So I can totally agree with this. That last line, while we may be quite willing to reveal the very worst, we must be sure to remember that we cannot buy our own peace of mind at the expense of others. Really, I know I have gotten super overzealous and I wanted to make all these amends and I wanted to do it quickly and kind of get on with the steps. But again, I had some very, very good people tell me, hey, you might want to slow down real fast. Easy does it. Check your motive here. Are you doing this for you or are you doing this for others? I would catch myself being selfish and didn't even realize it. And, I was trying to just do it for my own peace of mind at the expense of others. So, really, really grateful that this expansion is in here for step 9. And going back to the Big Book real fast, our Southern friend, he's really starting to rely on good old John Barleycorn here. He can be depended on. What a wonderful power he has over the mind. So the poor guy can't even think straight and pass a test without it. And the drink's getting him through the depression, the Great Depression, and anytime somebody comes by, he wants to celebrate with some drinks. His life isn't completely unmanageable yet, but you can see it's getting there. Things are getting progressively worse. And, just within a couple of pages, we see how he went from thinking nothing about drinks to having his first drink. And now he has a drink with almost everything he does. So you can see how it's progressing here, this cunning, baffling, and powerful disease. So my friends, that's all we have for today. I hope you all have a great day today. As I always say, I'm not a speaker on behalf of AA or any other sect or organization. I am just a friend in recovery, and I'm a grateful one just to be here and have you here with me. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.